Okay, we're going to have a look at the ISIS adjacencies and the troubleshooting. So the states here are down, initialization are up. If it's showing as initialized, that's or in initializing, that's very similar to the X start in OSPF. So you could have an MTU issue. In our case, we did. When we looked at the interfaces, we could actually see that there were two MTUs on each interface, one for INET and one for ISO. And of course, it's the ISO that's sending these packets. So these IIH packets are the ISIS to ISIS hellos. So MTU problem there, so we deleted it, which was good. We are going to use the trace options file, not as much as with OSPF, but here we are. So we're going to create one ISIS log. We have some IAH here from R3 with no matching areas. So it's all in the name, area issue there. We're using the rename command, which we also used with OSPF, which is really a powerful command. Very nice. So allows us to rename something quite specific and to change that string. It's similar to replace pattern, but quite targeted. Very nice. Much less risk using that. So here we have without matching address. We had an IP address match, so very interesting. So obviously we call it ISIS, but it's integrated ISIS, and it is carrying IP information. That's how it's being designed, and the hello was not happy without that matching IP address. Very good, very good. Here we can see in the log that we have a LAN IAH on one side and a P2P on the other. In fact, I think it's actually PPT is the correct text there. I've called it P2P, but I'm pretty sure that's PPT. Okay. And what was really nice here was this command run show ISIS statistics. Really nice command because it shows which packets are being ignored. They could be being ignored for a number of reasons. Could be something we're going to see in a moment. Could be authentication. However, very nice that you could see that the the hello packets were just being dropped. Of course, if you do that on both ends, you can start to get a feel of what the issue is. We're running show ISIS interface here. And one router doesn't see the other one, so something's obviously not right there. So we did some show commands, and it all seemed okay on one end. However, on the other end, we're missing the family ISO. Without that family ISO, it's not going to be able to establish a neighbor relationship because it's using those packets literally to send the packets across. That's the encapsulation. So we're back to the, no, we're on the database this time. We're going to run it on all of the routers, and this is almost like a sort of a sanity check. We're just seeing, is this router in the right area? Is it representing where it should be and where it's going? Because things seem at this point to be working quite well. So the problems aren't as obvious as they were before. R2, for example, is just missing some host names. So it looks innocent, but it isn't. The authentication was out. On R2, it was authenticating all the packets. Now on the neighbor, it was authenticating the hellos, and so that authentication allowed the hellos to come up, but no other packets to be passed. So so the neighbor looked full, or the adjacency looked full. It looked up. But it wasn't. So quite deceptive there, which is something you wouldn't have got with the OSPF, because in order to get to the full neighbor relationship, it has to go through all these stages. But the ISIS, it's a simpler, to be honest, it's a lot cleaner neighbor relationship there, much cleaner state. And that was we found that with the show ISIS statistics. Again, this helpful command that shows us what packets are being dropped, and all of the LSPs, the CSNPs and the parsnips, as people call them, partial and complete, were all being dropped. And then the last one, again, you needed to have the eagle eye view for this. You needed to be looking at all the routers, what was going on. You needed to be looking in the database, or you might not have noticed it. But basically, router 1 and router 7 just weren't appearing at the same time in a router. And it's because they had the same net configured. So that's a real problem, because obviously they're effectively impersonating each other. One of those difficult things to nail down. So yeah, and we fixed that with the rename command, and that is some ISIS troubleshooting. Very nice.